Welcome. Nice to see you. Nice to hear you. My name is Dean. That is James. That is Ryan. And that is Lachlan. And we're back, baby. Woo! Everybody's ready to go. We're happy. We're healthy for the most part. A couple of us have come out. One of us has COVID. That would be this guy. Not a big deal.
Ryan, you're okay?
We'll get to it. You all right?
Yeah. I my test came back negative, and I'm still feeling fit as a fiddle. So I don't look fit as a fiddle, but I feel it.
Yeah. You know what? The thing with Ryan, because you were hanging out with Bonzi, and then Bonzi literally had it after 12 hours. I thought for sure
he's dead.
you were going to. Bonzi died?
I thought so, too. Yeah,
he's dead.
Either that or he's got erectile dysfunction or something.
Yeah.
The important part is, did he record his death?
I hope so.
You know he did. Yeah.
Then we're good.
He's good like that, actually. Remember when if Bonzi dies from this, if I die from this, I fully expect people to dance on my grave because I've been dancing on a few myself.
Oh, you're gonna get dunked on, my friend.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
like Kenny Skywalker in 1988.
It'll be spectacular.
I'll be dead. What do I care?
We'll host an open forum.
I look at it
virtual wake for you.
Dunk
have people
contest.
come in.
I look at it like this: a dunk contest. I look at it like this. Like if I'm an organ donor, you know those people are like, I'm not signing my organ donor card. I want to be put in that box with all my organs. I'm like, do you fucking really care? You'll be dead. You won't even know that you don't have organs. You'll be like, fuck, I got all my organs. What do you care? You're dead. Same thing with COVID.
Yeah.
Someone wants to dance on my grave. I can't stop them. It's like controlling your reputation. You'll never do it. So why fucking bother? Just be yourself. But yeah, full. You guys are fully allowed to dance on my grave. If that's the case. But I feel pretty good. You know, it's weird. Having COVID, it's like, you have it, and you don't want to give it to other people, right? Obviously, that's the goal. You want to stay away from other people. That's weird. You feel almost dirty.
I could feel that. Like
That's not the COVID.
Like, kind of feel almost dirty.
It's not the COVID.
And Mike Austin says host a YouTube funeral for Dean and make it 36 minutes late.
He would be late for his own funeral for sure.
Yeah, don't start that fucking thing on time, by the way.
No, we would honor you, right?
But you know what it is? It's these side effects are like different every day. It's like
really
like Thursday, Friday it was like kind of chill, sweats, just feeling really run down. And then like Saturday, I was like a little bit better, but I had a headache and my eyes were watering, and I'm like, this is weird. And then on Sunday, my back and my legs were on fire. I was dying. I thought, fuck, this is the weirdest. And then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it was a different thing every day. It was like, I didn't even know I had it. I just knew that I wasn't feeling great, right? So, and then when we tested yesterday, I'm like, okay, I wonder what's going to come tomorrow. And then today, back's fine, a little bit sweaty, but now this fucker's right in my nasal cavities, right in my hooter. It's right here, and it's under my eyes and stuff like that. But breathing fine, feel good for the most part. Fortunate that I'm vaccinated. Talked to a couple of doctors, and they're like, haven't masturbated yet with, since I've been diagnosed with it, I haven't masturbated yet. But talked to a couple of doctors, and they're like, hey, just lots of water, vitamin C, you're vaccinated, you're probably going to be fine. For you, it's like the common cold because you're vaccinated. That's what every doctor's told me.
And relatively healthy.
Yeah, relatively is the relative.
ED, are you worried about some of the side effects like erectile dysfunction?
Well, a little bit, because you put this up on your Instagram the other day, and it freaked me out. Actually, this morning, Lachlan Cross's Instagram, he's got Jimmy, who's a little person, sitting on the floor, and he's like, most men suffer in silence. Jimmy has COVID, and he says Jimmy needs our support right now. The vid is giving him erectile dysfunction. Please reach out if you have a minute. This is hitting him pretty hard. Or soft. I think you get it. And that was news to me. Is like, you're like 6 times more likely to suffer erectile dysfunction as a form of long COVID. Is that is that true?
Yeah.
Something to do with how the blood is transferred to your and it does cause some issues. Yes,
they say it does have a lot of vascular involvement. This disease that they're finding out now that a lot of people have. That's why you get the blood clots. People with the clots. People are having issues with circulation problems. So
myocarditis.
Yeah, myocarditis. Yeah, that's the heart swelling, right? So
yeah,
seems very vascular. So that just ties into not being able to get a heart on. So
Are we sure that Francois Legault didn't just start spreading the rumor of erectile dysfunction so that people would get vaccinated?
Oh, fuck. Dude, you nailed it, James. You nailed it.
You totally nailed this. I've been talking about this on the show.
Yeah.
Since you said
You're
it, James.
Fucking genius. Legault comes out with the booze.
Right.
Well, dude, you remember he comes out with the booze tax and you got to have a QR code. So vaccine mandate for people to want to buy booze and pot. It quadruples vaccination appointments the next day.
They went from 1,500 to 6,000 appointments the next day.
And it's kept pace. And that's first dose, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah,
first dose. These are first dose appointments. So
and then the tax. Yeah.
7,000 appointments booked.
Yeah.
The day after. For the day after. And then 9,000 the day after. You nailed it. And
he's already won. But you can't unvaccinate. So so now if he's like, I'll reverse it. He still has 17,000.
I don't think he's going to do it.
I don't think he will either. He needs to ride it out until the first court case sets the precedent. And that's probably in a year. So he doesn't have to do shit.
The other thing I think he did too is I think he called Justin and said, listen, I need you to back me. I'm never going to do this. So I just need you in your next press conference just to step up to the podium and just say, hey, listen, he's not doing anything illegal here. As far as we're concerned, this actually could be passed. Now, morally and ethically.
He was more middle ground than that a little bit. Right?
But still, he didn't
I saw him on TV last night and he was like, well, this is the feeling I got. Correct me if I'm wrong. He was like, well, we checked with Legault, we checked with Quebec, and they promised us everyone would have access to healthcare no matter what, and he's going to make sure. That's what I mean. We're going to keep our eye on it. Was that the kind of feel that I got?
That was exactly the feel I got. He wasn't going to trash it. He wasn't going to endorse it. But that middle ground was enough for people to be like...
But he didn't step up and say, hey, listen, this isn't a good idea, and I'm not condoning this. Which means people go, oh, fuck. This asshole might do it. And
Legault was probably like, don't agree too strenuously because people will stop doing it.
Yeah.
I honestly, I think this guy is brilliant. I heard somebody talking from Quebec today who follows politics in Quebec.
Well, that must be fun.
Anyway, and they were talking about the idea that, just talking about him and where he stands with the general public. And he was saying, hey, listen, actually, they like him. They really like this guy. And his approval rating has been going up and down just like every politician, but for the most part he's doing pretty decent in the polls, and they have to they go to elect a new premier premier this year, I think in October.
I think most provinces do.
Yeah, every election.
Yeah, they're all
with the exception of like Saskatchewan because they just did it, I think.
Yeah. I think we just did it too, didn't we?
It feels like we just did, didn't we?
No, Kenny's this year. Everybody's this year except for Saskatchewan's next year. Scott Moe's like in a year and a half or something like that. Yeah. You know what? To your point, Locke, it's all we need to do. Like, we live in this fucking world where we're so reactionary to things, right? Like, we just sit and by and large, everybody who isn't vaccinated at this point isn't very bright. Science. We know that. Everybody knows that. They're just dumb. Fact. So, what is?
You're going to get dunked on so hard.
Like, it's not fucking true. It's 100% fucking true. The dumbest people in the world are unvaccinated because they're stupid and they can't understand it, can't comprehend it. It's science. It is.
It's brain science.
It's legitimate geographical brain science. It's like the farther you get away from the city, the dumber people are because they had to drive like farm trucks at 12 and didn't finish grade 7 or something. So anyway, bottom line is this.
Hi, Panther. Hope you're listening today.
The dumbest people in the world are traditionally unvaccinated. They don't get it. They're the ones that rage and get upset about objective reality and go, I'm going to fight everything everybody's doing because I just don't like it. And I wasn't born up this way. And I'm a fucking idiot because my mom choked me out a few times when I was a kid. And, all this other stuff. And my dad put smokes out on my brains and all this other stuff. So long story short, The entire thing that Legault did tricked all those people because they're dumb.
It wasn't hard to do.
It's not hard to trick a stupid person, right? It really isn't. And so, to your point, like for a guy like that, these people that have waited that long, this is like I'm going to take you into the mind of an anti-vaxxer. This is why they're stupid. They are. It's like I said, read the studies. It's in the science. These people are so dumb that they believe everything they read and see because they have to. That's why they believe the craziness. So Legault comes out and he's like, we're going to fuck you with the tax. And they're like this. Oh, he said it, so we got to go do it. They're not waiting for a trial because this isn't going to happen for a year, as James has pointed out. They're not waiting for mandates. They're just like, they hear it and they go do it. So if everybody across the country did it, like even if Trudeau said, listen, this is happening in 1 month, it would probably, I bet you 50% of people that were unvaccinated would go get their first dose.
I think
because they're dumb.
The trifecta of alcohol, weed, and your pocketbook.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the formula.
Hold on. Let's back the truck up because I think
The farm truck.
I think you're a little
harsh.
Not harsh. I think you're
Honest.
Simplifying things too much.
No,
I think
I'm
what
not.
you've got is you got a situation. You have a situation
Dude,
where
we're talking to dumb people. It has to be simple.
I'm surprised there isn't a fucking like chart with
I'm
like pictures to point at.
Using small words.
Don't be an ableist.
Okay, here's what I think.
Such a melting pot of voices today.
Yeah.
Right.
Here's what I think you're dealing with the unvaccinated. Okay, so you've got rule followers, and not all rule followers are smart. I'll throw myself into not the smartest guy in the world canoe, but you also have people that care about the community that they live in, and their families, and so they go on all the rule followers and all the people that give a shit about the people around them, because that's what I thought about the vaccine. Like, I don't think I'm going to get sick and die, but I think that I need to go do this to protect the people around me. So I went and got vaccinated. And then I think I represent about 65 to 70% of the population. Then you got 30% of the population, and I think you can break it down to degrees of defiance, right? You got that 10% that are like just lazy. And they're not going to do it and they probably heard their buddy or their uncle or something talk about it, and then they just use that as an excuse. Oh, fuck, it's an mRNA? I don't even know what that is. It's an experimental vaccine.
Sounds terrible. I
don't want that. But they're
Sounds
probably
like a credit card.
They're probably more
MBNA.
lazy than anything, right, Dean?
There's some of that.
Okay,
but,
and so hold
hang
on. I'm not done.
Okay,
I'm still dealing with the 30%. So you got 10% there that go, you know what? I'm not going to bother. Okay. Yeah. Those guys are the ones that I think ended up being talked into going to get the vaccine by their families, right? Christmas came, Thanksgiving came, and they were like, listen, we've got a situation like this in our family. If grandma's not coming over, if you don't get the fucking vaccine, Carson, so go do it. Okay. So I think you covered off about 10% of that. And now we're at 80%, right?
Also, what if your grandma's a cunt?
Well,
right? I'm just saying.
Then you got another 10%, Dean, that I think are they're even more lazy, and they don't like their families, and they're not getting it because they're just being dicks. Okay. They don't even, they're not dumb. They're not dumb. They just don't. And it's not even that they don't believe the vaccine is going to work, but they really like their weed, and they really like their cigarette, and they really like, so they go and get it when there's a threat that they might not be able to buy booze, right? If somebody told me, then you got another 10% that I don't think we're ever going to get. And they're just like, fuck you. You don't fucking tell me what to do. I don't fucking care. This thing could save me from my dick falling off, and I'm not fucking getting it because some asshole told me I had to. So I think what we're doing is we're getting that first 10% and then that second 10%. And I don't necessarily think it has anything to do with intelligence level.
That third group, though, that other 10%, If we were somehow able to associate it with OxyContin, like we do with weed and beer, we might be able to reach them.
Yeah.
Like,
Or mouthwash or anything like that. Or Laker.
Am I wrong?
So I think so, because the root of all of those things, anger, people, you know why people get angry? Because they're too stupid to think through a problem.
I have anger issues.
Those people, yeah, but you're not that angry. You're not angry enough to penalize your neighbor or possibly cause the death of a family member because you're just that angry. That's dumb.
Okay, well, the family thing comes my neighbor.
Bred from frustration, yeah.
The family thing. The family thing, if you think your reading comprehension is at like a 8th to 12th grade level, and you've been able to read your way through this whole thing and see all the double-blind placebo studies, legitimate healthcare professionals, every government, every hospital, every university, every professor, every researcher with their salt go, oh, by the way, you should get vaccinated. It's really important. It'll save humanity, save your neighbor. And they're like, not believing that guy. I believe what I read on Facebook. Also dumb. When it comes to the familial stuff, to penalize your family because you have a different set of opinions and not give a fuck about grandma's health at Thanksgiving, also dumb. In each and every single one of those percentages that you mentioned, there are people who are legitimately too stupid to be allowed to make their own decisions. Too stupid. That's why we're here. And every single one of those people, you can. I haven't met a smart anti-vaxxer yet. Not one. Have you? Have you guys met a really bright man or woman interested in the greater good, hoping to do some good work for the humanity in which we participate in? Go, these vaccines are bullshit. No. Do you know why? Because they're not dumb. These people are dumb. And because they can't comprehend what's happening, do you guys ever see a toddler not be able to stick a square peg in a round hole? Just fucking snap. Have you ever seen angry. This? Fucking man, throwing stuff and they're going to throw it. That's what we're dealing with because the toddler, for all their genetic excellence, is too stupid to realize that the fucking square peg doesn't go in the round hole. So that's why little beautiful girls like Ava May have passed away. That's why friends of ours who aren't on this show today have COVID. That's why I have it. It's because there's a segment of society that's really stupid. Like genetically predisposed, or maybe it wasn't genetic, maybe it was an accident, maybe it was years of drug abuse that led to tons of mental illness. But that is like legitimately the only reason we still are rushing through this whole thing and everybody's sick and people are dying and kids aren't in school and we're losing relatives and people have like, you know, fucking emphysema after this and can't get boners. Poor Jimmy. I feel sorry for him. Look at this. Like, how do you not feel sorry for Jimmy? He can't get a boner anymore. Look at him.
Stay strong, little buddy.
Stay strong.
Just can we stay on that profile of the stupid person for a second? And not him. No, I didn't mean him. But
that was an accident.
And if like now that you have COVID, my stepmother lives in Cannington, and I was wondering if you could just stop by and pay her a visit.
Yeah, shoot it like a weapon.
How do you explain
I am a biohazard. I'm a bioweapon right now.
The Novak Djokovic's and the Aaron Rodgers and the Joe Rogans and the like. I don't think these are dumb individuals.
Okay, let's watch a little bit of Joe Rogan before we get to Prince Andrew not being Prince Andrew anymore. Let's watch a little bit of Joe Rogan. Here's how I explain it.
Oh yeah.
Stripped him. He got
stripped him good.
Dude, we got Drake putting hot sauce in rubbers, burning women's hoo-has to talk about today. We got Prince Andrew no longer being a
hot sauce in the taco. Yeah,
he's going to go to jail. It's going to be great. Can you imagine how Prince Andrew will do in prison?
He's never going to prison.
He's not going to prison. No.
And
this is a civil case.
That would make sense. And
we got some McDonald's to talk about again, but I want to get to Rogan because it fits into what we're talking about. This is Rogan on his show the other day. Lindley brought this up. Linz, give this a little context for us because this video is truly unbelievable. And I can't believe they didn't take it down.
I didn't even go in to see who it is he's talking to there, but maybe it's a doctor of some sort. I don't know if it's a co-host. I don't watch him anymore. I can't stand him.
He doesn't have
Joe Rogan is
he
stupid.
just has guests.
He is dumb.
So I don't know who
smart.
I'm not sure.
I think
who
it's
the guest.
ego. I think ego gets in the
he's
way
not
sometimes.
smart. If you're smart, you stop. If you
especially
fucking destroyed his career, it's fucking. Anyway,
especially what we see now, like within this video, it's perfect because he's presented with the actual facts of something when it comes to
myocarditis.
Cases of myocarditis in kids, and the facts are there. And this is his downfall: is when he goes and Googles something on a show, and then it pulls it up on the screen, and he's reading it word for word, getting the facts, and denying it, and trying to find and like literally cherry picking anything you can find. And then VAERS. Oh, what about what's VAERS say? VAERS. And what he doesn't realize, or maybe he does and just doesn't care and just uses it because he knows his audience is mostly stupid, is VAERS, the reports that you read on VAERS are unvetted. I can go on there and say that my balls grew 10 times because of the vaccine. And it gets posted.
People do. Like there was a VAERS report that my buddy sent me the other day. He sends me. I'll bring one up during the show.
Yeah.
We'll find one.
It's kind of like Wikipedia for medicine, right?
Yeah. Like, hey, I got the vaccine yesterday. My cock grew 5 feet in one afternoon, and I ended up knocking over a bunch of stuff in my house, and someone owes me for some damaged crystal.
Yeah,
like, legitimately.
Yeah. Well, look,
crystal meth.
Your comparison is bang on, Locke. It's like the Wikipedia of vaccine adverse reactions.
Yeah.
Anybody
but
can
it's
edit
medical.
Anybody can.
It's all encompassing though, or is it just the
vaccine? It's vaccines only. It's for vaccine.
VAERS is only vaccines. Okay,
yeah.
I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah. So here's the video. This is Joe Rogan. Lynn's brought this up for us today. You can see it at DeanBlundell.com as well, and at Ryan Lilly. Thanks for doing this. He alerted it to us today, but this is legitimately Joe Rogan, who's super smart. Right? He's got to be smart. He's got 11 million fucking. Donald Trump.
I don't think he's a dumb guy, though.
There's an association of doctors in the U.S. I retweeted a thing today. They're actually calling for Spotify to not renew his contract now
because of his that shit.
Dangerous.
No. Watch this. Watch this.
Dangerous misinformation.
So he's telling people not to get vaccinated. He's been telling people for like 2 years that if you get your kid vaccinated, your kid will get myocarditis and die. This is him finding out in real time on his own show that's not the case and then denying it.
Myocarditis more common after COVID-19 infection than vaccination. But is this with children? Yeah, we're talking about young people.
Men and boys aged under 30 after this is what it says here.
With children is the issue.
Well, no, we were talking about 15-year-olds.
Well, we're talking about young children.
Male,
so, yes,
12 to 17.
12 to 17, more likely to develop myocarditis within 3 months of catching COVID at a rate of 450 cases per million infection. This compares to 67 cases of myocarditis per million at the same time following their second dose of Pfizer.
Yeah, so you're about 8 times likelier to get myocarditis from getting COVID than from getting the vaccine.
That's interesting.
Now, that
is not what I've read before, but also it's like, even when we're reading these things, it's like, what are we getting this from? Was this from the VAERS report? But even from the VAERS reports, when they report this stuff, it's like the amount of people that report, it's the underreporting, depending upon who you ask and like what it is, it's either 1% under.
Is just fighting it.
Yeah, fighting. That wasn't the most egregious thing I've heard him say in the last 3 months, even close.
No, but
I hear what you're saying, though. Like
he's
dancing around trying to find a way to make it not as true as it might be because it falls against his narrative.
Pick your poison here.
Right.
But he's not stupid.
I would love to hear.
I think, Lachlan, you said this the first time, I think a couple months ago. He's now calculating. And he's looking at his analytics, and most of his audience now is that sort of like if he lost mega audience members, his show would not tank because he's got a lot of listeners, but it would lose millions of viewers if he lost all his mega audience members. And you said it for the first time a couple months ago, and at the time I was like, I'm not sure about that. Now it's just there's too many examples. He's placating to an audience because he's afraid of his analytics. And what that will look like if he starts isolating.
I think that's exactly what's going down. And I think what's happened is I think there's been a couple of meetings and he can say all he wants that Spotify lets me do whatever I want. I don't have any problems. Bullshit. They paid you $100 million. And if your numbers go from here to even down here, there's going to be a conversation with somebody that makes money from what it is that you're doing. Yep. Somebody that paid you. We all have a boss. Even a guy that gets paid $100 million has a boss. So there's a conversation of a strategy behind the scenes with respect to content. And I know that's part of the reason why I think we're seeing what we're seeing from Joe Rogan right now. And the thing, I'll bring up this too. I've heard him talk about the VAERS report from the position of, look at all this stuff happening on the VAERS report. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's bringing it up as evidence that we should be paying attention to, that it's not being disseminated into the public enough that there's these problems. Now he's saying the VAERS report is actually part of the problem for this report. Like,
what VAERS report is he talking about, Lachlan? Which one?
It's just an open portal. VAERS report's an open portal.
Yeah, I think Lachlan was just saying that he cited that report for that site.
But this is what I mean, and this is the whole point. I could say, well, we should look at the TPR report, guys. Why haven't we looked at that? And you guys are like, what the fuck is the TPR report? Yeah. It's not there's no official report that he's talking about. He's pulling this out of his ass.
Yes,
but it's a very hard ass.
Sometimes he's using it to benefit his argument, and now he's using it to say that, can we trust this? Like, come on.
I'm not one to
what I
tag
fucking
people.
laughed about when I watched him try to dismiss the VAERS report is the 45,000 other times he took the VAERS report as gospel.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah.
It's the cherry picking, and it legitimately is owned. The cherry picking of, things that are, as to what fucking James said, which was bang on to start the thing. He's like, hey, listen, he's just like fucking looking for things to bolster his fucking narrative and looking for a way to fucking stay within the parameters of the analytics that might keep him where he is, because he's legitimately losing every day.
And he's doing it like a politician would. Did you guys see last week where he endorsed Michelle Obama for president? Mm-hmm. Like, he's trying to hedge his bets, it feels like. And if he's not doing it intentionally, he should at least be aware that that's what it's looking like. Like, he's placating to MAGA with the vaccines, and then he's saying something that MAGA would totally not like, maybe because he's seeing he's losing audience on the other side of the spectrum. So he endorses Michelle Obama for president.
But I also think that there is a strategy that he needs to trend to actually extend the show past the life of the show, because Spotify is such a singular format for him. If he's not trending once or twice a week, he might not be. Do you know what I'm saying? So I think he is doing a little into it, to be honest with you. I think we are. I think maybe we're reading a little too much into it. Maybe the guy just doesn't fucking believe in vaccines, and he's actually more liberal than we're giving him credit for. Because that's surprising to a lot of people when you listen to Joe Rogan for any length of time. He's actually a fairly liberal-minded individual.
Or he's the dumb person's Pied Piper. How about
That's what they used to say about Jordan Peterson, too. Yeah. And now Jordan Peterson is dumber now than he's ever been.
Well, I don't fucking care about Jordan Peterson.
I'm just saying.
One day he says something completely egregious, and the next day I agree with him. I fucking want to stay away from that.
That's the weird part about him, though, is that, but Jordan Peterson but he's one of those names, right? Like, one of those names where it's like, if you agree with anything Jordan Peterson says, you're an alt-right incel, right? Like, that's the way it is for certain people. And now Joe Rogan, I mean, I don't know why it doesn't bother him, except maybe because of the money thing, but like why he would want to become, when he used to be the guy that straddled the left and right. And that's why guys like me watched him. I watched him because he was.
That's why I liked him.
And then the vaccine thing came, and it's just like he's doing everything in his power to be one of those guys that's just placed on that side.
I don't think it was the vaccine thing that came. I think it was the money thing that came.
Money.
To tell you the truth.
He's got.
I'm talking about the issue that exploited
money.
Yeah. You're right. I think that just kind of put a emphasis on it for sure.
Let me just recap. Let me just recap this for you guys, because this is a fairly like important thing Fuck, Wayne, you got to get out of here. I'm trying to do my thing. Watch this. Have a look at this.
Are we in a
Have a look
strip
at
club
this.
with the background? Like, what's going on?
No, there's a guy in there fooling around with it. Wayne Hanna from Zen as fuck. He doesn't know we're on. I have to tell him to get off the fucking restream right now. Anyway, this is a conclusion from a Harvard paper, a conclusion about erroneous social media reports complicating personal decision making, leading to people with lower cognitive ability to be vaccine hesitant. Do you know what that means? With individuals that have a lower cognition also experiencing higher rates of COVID-19 studies conducted prior to vaccine distribution, these new findings are suggestive of a potential additional disease burden. You know what that disease burden is here? Stupidity. That's what this is saying.
Yeah.
It's like legitimately Harvard going, hey, everybody, we got a couple of diseases. One is COVID, and the problem with that is it's really attaching itself to the dumbest fucks on the planet.
Yeah.
I still don't want him deplatformed.
Oh,
I can't go that far.
I just think it's hilarious.
agree.
You know what?
I'd
be happy with a.
Watching him go like this. I don't know what this means. I don't know. Is this real? I don't know. It's
I would be happy with a disclaimer at the beginning, ending, and throughout his show about how he's spreading misinformation. That's
By
all.
now, his
Leave him
own
on.
image, his face.
But
is
the thing is,
right?
Ryan.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, he's not a news show. He's an opinion show. So why would you put that kind of pressure on it? It's not. It would be like tuning into this podcast or my show
and calling it daily news.
Yes, it's not.
So call it.
So you can't.
Yeah.
I
guess you're right.
You're asking people to not be able to make up their own minds about what they're ingesting, what content they're listening to.
That's the price of freedom, right? Is responsibility. It really is. It's an old adage, but it's true. You know, turn the channel, fight bad ideas with good ideas, all that kind of stuff. So
that's true. Yeah, no, you're right. I guess I see it that way. It's just so fucking
there are
annoying.
times we say shit that makes no sense and is completely fucking wrong on this podcast.
Not true.
Probably every day.
I have never ever been like that in my life. I've always said things that made sense.
Fair.
Always. I never have it my entire life.
Yeah.
Speaking of stupid people, so we're settled, right? The reason why we're here is because those guys are dumb fucks. Are they as dumb as this guy, though? Prince Andrew today. Prince Andrew, His Royal Highness, Queen Elizabeth II's son, Prince Andrew, today was stripped of all his military titles and royal patronages, which means all of his titles.
Yep.
As he prepares to face a civil case over claims of sexual assault, saying he must defend himself as a private citizen. Here's the note from the Queen. Tell me this isn't bad if it comes from your mom, right? Here's a statement. Royal Communications today. Statement regarding the Duke of York. With the Queen's approval and agreement, the Duke of York's military affiliations and royal patronages have returned to the Queen. The Duke of York will continue not to undertake any public duties and is defending his case as a private citizen. And it's not signed by the Queen. It just says ends.
Everlast signed it. Look at that.
The last one he got was, Andrew, make sure you take out the garbage today. Clean your dishes. It's not as nice as that note he used to get.
Well, if the Queen ever
Definitely
said
not
that,
good.
he would just be dragging Diana's corpse down the stairs.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's how they feel about her. Anyways.
And then,
I just hope
obviously,
he
we
gets a
all
fair
know that
trial.
this has something to do with Virginia Giuffre, who's got him in court. And this was taken 20 years ago. Prince Andrew absolutely had sex with her when she was a 17-year-old girl. Prince Andrew absolutely is a pedophile. Therefore, the Queen stripped his titles, and he is legitimately being forced to defend himself, not as Prince Andrew, just Andy the Pedophile.
Randy Andy. And that's the thing. This is very telling of how the royal family operates. It was less than 24 hours from when that judge from that civil court allowed that lawsuit to go.
Yeah.
That it took the Queen to strip him of his titles. Why didn't she do it months ago?
Well,
because she thought that they were all going to side with the royal family.
Yeah.
She
You can't
thought
go
that they
through
were
a
all going
court
to come in
trial
line.
dragging the Windsor name through it, right? So
Yeah.
he's no longer like he's not going through a court trial as a prince. He's legitimately going to court and he's being sued by Virginia Giuffre for being a fucking raging pedophile as part of that Epstein sex ring.
Yeah.
We're talking about the family.
Lose.
We're talking about the family tree of King Henry VIII. Let's not forget that. Right, the same family tree. Well, it was. I can't remember who said. Oh, I always quote the same guy. It's Christopher Hitchens, and he's like, "Monarchy, you see, is a hereditary disease that can only be cured through fresh outbreaks of itself." Which means that once they die, we have to put up with the next one, which was why Charles is going to be on our money. But if he loses, or if he wins that civil case, they'll just quietly give him all his titles back.
Well, here's the problem: is that I don't know if you guys saw this, but he just sold, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he's now he has to bring his legal team has to bring proof that he couldn't sweat back in 2001. Because if you remember, Prince Andrew was like being interviewed in the dumbest interview in the history of interviews. I have it here. It's fucking hilarious.
Oh, it is funny.
It's only a two. And they're like, and part of the deal was Virginia Giuffre was like, I remember him sweating all over me, that pig. Yeah. And so to defend himself like a year ago, which is really what opened up the can of worms, this was his response. Let's watch this together.
What
with the volume on.
As a family.
Let's watch this as a family, okay? And let's enjoy this. Feel free to laugh through it, because I know I will. And I want you to pick out the parts in the 2 minutes where you're like, oh, that guy's guilty, because it's pretty easy to do.
That guy's guilty.
We now understand is the date, which is the 10th of March. I was at home. I was with the children. I'd taken Beatrice to a Pizza Express in Woking for a party at I suppose sort of 4 or 5 in the afternoon. And then because the Duchess was away, we have a simple rule in the family that when one's away, the other one's there. I was on terminal leave at the time from the Royal Navy, so therefore I was at home.
Why would you remember that so specifically? Why would you remember a Pizza Express birthday and being at home?
Because going to Pizza Express in Woking is an unusual thing for me to do.
It's unbecoming of a prince to go into Pizza Express.
Where were you that night 20 years ago when Virginia Giuffre was abused?
I was at Pizzagate.
Exactly.
I mean, Pizza Express.
I, being the most recognizable man in the country, went to a fucking Pizza Express.
Emily's got a really good point. I love Emily's comment.
I was busy.
This one here?
Too much detail.
It's a classic. It's a classic sign of guilt.
I remember I had sausages and mushrooms on that pizza.
442, they asked, do I like pineapple on pizza? I said, the
I
royal
was like,
family has no comment.
I took a 42-second piss in the washroom, actually. I remember that distinctly. It was a 42-second urination I took. Look at his face.
Where I confessed to murder.
Yeah. So he's reliving something that never happened. And then the best part is where he then says, hey, listen, I can't sweat, man. I just can't sweat.
You see that?
A very unusual thing for me to do. I've only been through Woking a couple of times, and I remember it weirdly distinctly. As soon as somebody reminded me of it, I went, oh yes, I remember that. But I have no recollection
weirdly
ever meeting or being in the company or the presence.
So you're absolutely sure that you're at home on the 10th of March.
Yeah.
She was very specific about that night. She described dancing with you and you profusely sweating, and that she went on to have bath, possibly.
There's a slight problem with the sweating because I have a peculiar medical condition, which is that I don't sweat, or I didn't sweat at the time, and that was yes, I didn't sweat at the time because
holy shit.
I had suffered what I would describe as an overdose of adrenaline in the Falklands War when I was shot at, and I simply it was almost impossible for me to sweat.
Okay, that's
Why
called
did he do this?
Why
did he do this?
I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's like anhydrosis. That's the condition where you can't sweat. So he's now saying that he had temporary anhydrosis and not, hypohidrosis,
I think.
And can that be brought on by PTSD, or
it can be brought on by pedophilia, probably, right?
No, I guess It's unbecoming for a member of the royal family to sweat, so the queen had my glands removed when I was a child.
Because I like to have sex with little boys, you see. The Bishop of Canterbury used to take me
It's
to
physically
the
impossible for me to sweat.
Where all the boys were
fucking
tied up
idiot.
and crying. Sorry.
Yeah, the problem with that whole statement is that this picture was taken the same year, so we'll see what happens.
Are you sure that's not Rob Ford?
That was during the Falklands War. That's when the gunfire started, right there. He sweated himself out.
Yeah. So anyway, good news. I read today he's selling his $17 million Swiss chalet. I had no idea he started that chain.
Fuck your dipping sauce.
He is. He's selling legitimately. He's selling everything, and you'll never guess who his lawyer is, too.
And Dershowitz, please be Dershowitz.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is Dershowitz. Yeah, because Dershowitz went on as a commentator for the Maxwell case.
Yeah,
and was like brought on as like
on
a
the
foremost,
BBC, right?
Well, yeah, as a foremost authority on it, and they're like. The BBC's like the next day, like, oh shit, we didn't really vet him very well. Maybe,
Even if he wasn't, because even if he wasn't sweating, Dershowitz probably lent the 80-year-old fat Russian broad that was massaging him, right, and to slather oil all over his nasty, sweatless body before he went and had sex with a child.
Yeah,
because he's a pedophile.
The sad thing about this is we live in a society where, and this drives me fucking bonkers. It drives me insane because the way I'm wired, it doesn't matter whether you're the prince or you're the fucking janitor. If you do something wrong, you should fucking pay the consequences. And unfortunately, we don't live in that world. Quarterbacks get treated than linemen. We have a situation. If you have money or you have fame, you'll probably get off of any kind of crime. It doesn't matter what it is that anybody else will do. Look at Bill Cosby is walking around. He's probably at a Starbucks right now waiting for a fucking latte. Like, it's just bullshit. We live in a fucked world. This is fucked.
Or buying a latte for someone else with a little bit of extra.
It's fucked. It is. And I would just I truly want to believe in karma. And
everybody that was there.
Yeah, I want to believe in karma, but it doesn't happen in the world that we live in.
No,
it just doesn't. It doesn't.
This
you can be
karma.
a good
These
human being, and shit things can happen to you, or you can be rich and famous and have all the fucking money in the world, and you get away with just egregious, awful shit as a human being. And it's just it's so hard to watch. It just drives me absolutely insane.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things that I take out of this too is natural consequences are a lovely thing, right? Like you say this is karma. It's not really karma. It's just like natural consequences as far as that came from like
I want karma
20 years ago.
Chickens are coming home.
Yeah, and they always do. Like, you know what? It's we get angry as just proletariats, like, you know, just regular laborers. That's what I consider us to be. Just everyday people. We're smarter than
plebs.
Almost all of them, but yeah,
plebs.
I just think in terms of like, you know, how we're going to break this down. I'm really happy that that this is happening to him because he did these things, right? And we as people, as proletariats, when we see like the uber wealthy, and by the way, not even the funny, like I can't sweat. I didn't sweat on March 10th. I know that for a fact. Like
what a
20 years ago. That was the day I didn't sweat, actually. And then to have that be a condition of just being shot at in a war.
People are going to watch that.
This
like
is
the
it.
fucking arrogance of
that wasn't even the best part.
Pull that off.
That
wasn't even the best part. It was the Prince of England and his wife, who was a princess of England, saying, we had a rule that I was with the kids or she was with the kids. They didn't raise their fucking kids.
Exactly. But what Lachlan says, it's because they've grown up, like their entire life has been nobody questions me. So if I can say whatever I want and I will be regarded as royalty, it's fine. Oh, you don't sweat? Good on you. Good stuff.
I want to see that greasy fuck Dershowitz go down too. Now that I really do. Like that'll be fucking awesome watching him get taken down by, because she's taken down the Prince of England. This young girl who's had to live with this pain for fucking 20 years.
Good for her.
Is taking down the Prince of England and the royal family. The royal family just told one of their sons, fuck off.
Hit the bricks. Yeah.
Good.
I'm not taking any calls
Exciting,
right
isn't
now.
it? No. It's very exciting.
Yeah, no, it is. It's like you say, it's chickens coming home to roost. It's nice to see. And I like watching it happen slowly and methodically with these guys because it's like, again, I'll go back to the toad in the boiling water.
I like how you changed it from frog to toad. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
It's slow. It's a slow burn, right? They don't know that it's coming, and they think that I'll just get out of it. Well, then you just and it's slowly like stripping the skin off. It's like until he's left with nothing. He has no Swiss chalet anymore, and I'm happy about that.
And a lot of sweat.
A lot of sweat.
He's probably sweating here because that's his daughter.
Like a truck on a highway. I mean, I understand the frog thing, whatever you're doing there, Ryan, but also a big rock out of the sky falls on him.
Yeah.
And sometimes a Corona can just get an
animal just grabs his fucking cock and rips it off while he's on TV. I'd be okay with that too. But yeah, the slow thing's fine. Yeah,
I was going to say about the toad in the boiling water. Sometimes a Corona can just get a little limey.
Almost.
I forgot, Dean, you're British.
A limey crown thing, yeah.
Isn't it a scurvy joke?
Well,
limeys. What's a limey
maybe the
again?
vaccines
Is that a
are
British
made
person?
as dumb as them. No.
And the
Corona. I didn't want to see dumb though, so I didn't want to mention it.
A limey?
I didn't understand it.
Isn't that a racial epithet against white people?
I don't think so.
Limeys?
No, it's
Limey?
yeah. That's a British thing.
Yeah, but like you went so far for it, it made zero sense.
Well, fuck
It was
you.
Actually, I think he made a joke. I think he made a joke he didn't even realize he made. Because Corona is Spanish for crown.
It qualifies
That's
as
what
a
I
joke
meant.
if no one laughs.
Oh my God. Dude, Ryan just told you what the joke was, and you know what? Fuck you.
All right,
I still don't get it.
Yeah. Real quick
Corona
before we
means
get to Drake, I do want to bring this up. Thoughts and prayers to Martha Stewart, who spent yesterday with Pete Davidson.
Oh,
She's
look
totally
out,
banging
Martha.
him.
Yeah, but she already banged Snoop Dogg.
I'm
got
so disappointed with
She's
you,
got the
Martha.
post-bang glow, doesn't she?
Yeah.
She
I
can't
got
even
a
look at the
question. I have
camera.
a question for the group. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah, he did.
Martha?
No, would
you?
Would
Yeah.
you?
Of course I would.
Yeah. Big time.
Look at that pearl
Martha's
necklace. I'm not saying anything, but just look at it.
How old is she? How old is Martha?
Who cares? She looks great.
I don't like her voice.
Age
I
ain't nothing
hate
but
to
a
say.
number.
She talks real slow, and I can't do it.
She's 80.
She's 80.
She was 80? Yeah, she's 80. She was born in 1941.
She's still doing
Snoop Dogg
squat
tapped
thrusts.
that. Snoop Dogg totally tapped that.
Did he? Do you think?
Oh, for fuck's sakes, for sure.
They did that cooking show where they all got high all the time. Yeah, and Martha was great on that.
Did
show.
Martha
like
get
Martha.
stoned with
Oh,
him?
fucked baked. Yeah, she loves smoking pot.
No way she
loves
didn't blow him. There's no way.
it. Okay.
What?
I need to live
Martha
in a world.
Stewart blew
I
Snoop
need to
Dogg.
live in a world where Martha banged Snoop. I'm sorry.
I just want to put the visual.
I'm
out
on
there.
James's side here.
I'm nervous if I ever met Pete Davidson. If I would, I'd like.
You might fuck him too.
I might get.
don't think
fucked
you're
I think
by
he
Pete
just
Davidson. I
he
think
just screws everything.
Yeah.
Ryan. Yeah.
I don't think I'd ever want to meet the guy.
Speaking of people that screw everything, Drake is in the news. Drizzy, the Sixth God.
What is this story? Because
Drizzy also all of
we
a sudden
keep
has
getting.
an awesome ring to it now.
Drizzy.
Drizzle.
Drizzle.
What's up, Drizzle?
I keep getting conflicting
yeah. Well,
reports
here's the story.
about what the thing what happened.
Well, here's what happened. I'll just bring up the
Okay.
headline at deanblundell.com. You can read the story yourself. I've included some light pictures and a decent explanation of what the deal is with Drake.
Okay.
Drake's putting hot sauce in condoms to prevent chicks from stealing his sperm, apparently. An Instagram model is suing
Does he
him.
put the hot sauce in?
Hang on. I'll
Then
get
he
to it.
put. Okay.
Yeah, Instagram model
Very
ready
confused.
to sue after Drake allegedly has started to put hot sauce in his rubbers after the remember the French connection, the French porn star that was like bonjour le bébé, and he's like fuck, and he didn't admit to it until like the kid was like 2, and then he recorded an album about how he doesn't care that he has a kid with a porn star in France, but the whole thing is talking about how he's fucked. Chicks are always trying to fuck him over for his jizz. Well, he's taken action. He's taken action. Here's the story. This is
0 to
according
100.
to Instagram account at Too Much Hot Tea.
So you know it's legit.
Allegedly, Drake and the IG model allegedly met up on Instagram. A lot of allegedlys, and the two decided to link up a few weeks ago. The model and Drake had a romantic encounter, and what happened next was, well, crazy. After the
So this is her account.
Well, this is crazy. After the party, they went back to his hotel. They smoked weed for a bit, and then he asked if she wanted to have some sex. She said she was very intent on ensuring things were consensual. So at the very least, we know Drake is all about consent, the most important part of sex, the only part that really, really matters. How good you are at it doesn't matter. Did you get permission? Good for him. Yeah. They started with a bit of foreplay. He's been known to like to have his butthole motorboated, by the way. Anyway, he sucked her titties for a bit, and then he went to the bathroom and came out with a condom on. She said, I love how they go into detail. She said, quote, he's about 7 inches thick and cut. They fucked for about 20 minutes. He mostly hit it from the back and eventually came inside the condom. Immediately after, he went back into the bathroom to dispose of it. Too Much Hot Tea on Instagram says she fished the condom out of the trash, untied it, and put the open end into her vagine. Quote, boy, was she in for a surprise. She said it felt like pouring hot lava into her you-know-who. She screamed. Drake ran into the bathroom. He admitted he poured a packet of hot sauce in the condom to kill the sperm.
So he does it after the fact,
I guess.
I would imagine.
And she'd
be really kinky if he did it beforehand.
Well, I didn't know, like
20 minutes.
Does that work?
It does.
Apparently, I did a light reading myself before we came on today, and apparently the acids, like the acidic acid in hot sauce, will kill.
Can I just make 2 quick points? Well, one is it kind of speaks volumes what kind of girl this was, where she would pour discolored cum into her vagina, because unless this like hot sauce was transparent or fucking white, I don't really get that
Don't
part.
Be racist
the other thing is
the hot sauce.
No, I'm not. I just think it's But the other thing is, who would have ever thought that a guy who drives around the richest neighborhood in Toronto in his Maybach throwing stacks of cash at rich kids would ever do anything so asinine? I'm shocked.
I gotta tell you, I don't mind the move.
I think it's awful. Just flush it.
Flush the fucking thing. Exactly.
If this is true, first of all, let me just put that out there.
Yeah.
God forbid an IG model lies about having an encounter with a rapper. Like, fuck, really? Oh my God, that had to have happened. It has to be true. But if I'm Drake and you just got presented a 3-year-old a couple of years ago, and I was like, here's there, and you're like, God damn it, I would be like petrified to ever, ever, ever have intercourse with anybody ever again unless that person was my wife. So I know of Drake, and clearly I know who he is, and I know what he's all about. He's not about to settle down and get married anytime soon, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
So
but the flush thing, doesn't that work?
Well, I mean, see, here's the thing, is that in my mind, this is one of two things. It is a move to prevent women from stealing his seed, which it worked. Great move.
Yeah.
Also, it's punitive. It's almost serial killer.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean, where it's like,
it's got a Dexter feeling to it.
He's trying to make someone pay for something because this maybe happened to him in the past. Again, if this is true.
But also,
he's
a rapper, and rappers understand that there's another substance that kills sperm, and it's called stomach acid. Like, where are your priorities? Like, sorry.
But you are the king of the dad jokes today, huh?
And just yeah.
If I was a famous rapper, I wouldn't be fucking with condoms. I would be
all of a sudden I'm pining for the limey joke.
Yeah. Remember
Kelowna
that?
means
Remember
crown.
how good that was?
Ryan, thank you.
Say it again.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if he was sitting around with like his PR team when this all broke, and he's like, "We're suing her. That's not a true story." And then, wait, how big did she say I was? Okay, leave
7
it alone.
inches.
Let it go.
Cut. Yeah.
Well, that's the other.
It's Drake. It's Drake. So it could be a marketing ploy. There could be a hot sauce sponsor coming out.
I'd write this about myself. 7 inches thick and cut.
I might add an inch. Just 8
from behind.
8 seems a little more round.
You like even numbers.
I like
Also,
numbers.
if you put an 8 on its side, it's balls. Right?
And 10 is, that's a good one, actually. James, you redeemed yourself. 10 is like just, it's ridiculous. Very few guys have 10. 9's somewhat believable. 8 is in that demo. 7 is like, I think if that's true, Drake has a smaller penis than probably me for sure. And for sure, Locke.
Okay,
what
you
Locke
can't
said.
you can't say
Locke
shit
tells us.
unless
No,
you're
I'm
ready to like post shit. Okay, like really.
I
You
know
can
it's
keep that
bigger than
shit to
7
yourself.
inches. That's all I know is I got a bigger wiener than Drake.
He's
Oh, I got
Mine's
it.
bigger
measuring
than
from the
7
bunghole.
inches. But I am definitely a shower.
I think what you guys need to do is put your dicks together.
Remember that show
Right
on
now,
docking
actually.
we did? Remember we did doc? Can you do virtual Zoom docking here on the show? That'd be
Just
great.
stand up, turn to the left.
It was like someone asked me the other day. One of my kids is like, when you measure your wiener, do you measure it flaccid or? I go, no one does that.
No,
Nobody does that.
no.
And
You
buddy, you
slap
can-
it against the wall a couple of times.
You can,
Wake up.
drive that measuring tape all the way back to the bunghole, buddy. You deserve it.
Yeah. Start from behind the balls too. That's why I got 8.
Right from the prostate root.
Oh yeah, I shoved that measuring tape about 4 inches into my abdomen, and then I start measuring.
I measure from the living room. I'm here in the office. That's where I start.
Yeah, but there's no way.
Honey,
he
I
didn't
need
leak
some
this
help
story
with this. Can
himself.
you hold the end of this? What are we
Keep
doing?
walking backwards.
It's sexy time.
No, but if I'm Drake, I'm not. I don't hate this story coming out about me if it is true.
Sounds a
Like this is
little
one of those.
No.
because he used to like make chicks sign NDAs as soon as they walked into the suite. Right? It's like, baby, sign this, and then you're like, okay, and then they
Did he
motorboat his
really?
butthole.
He
Oh, yeah,
practically
yeah.
invented the confiscate your cell phone parties. Right? Like
Yeah.
that. He was been doing that for 10 years at least.
Makes
Yeah,
sense.
but he is. He
Then
is.
why
I
does
will
this story
say
get
this.
out?
Because probably he put it out.
Well, it's just a story.
Because he's still an idiot.
Yeah.
Like he's still he can't help himself, right? He's still doing. Plus, I know for a fact he's going through a very mentally difficult time because of those people that died at the Astroworld thing. So he's like fucked in the head right now. So this is probably driving him nuts, which doesn't bother me.
But it's all
you know
weird. It's weird how it's
why
all
he's-
coming out at the same time. The money thing, this thing.
Coming back. Oh yeah,
The
dude. it all
Astro
comes
World
back.
thing. I'm glad he's chewing on that because that was awful.
You know, we talk about Bieber and stuff, and they have a totally different biography. But like, you have to understand, Drake has been like, if there was a top 1 percentile of superstardom on this planet, Drake's been there for like a decade. That is rare. That is super rare. You know, he's got more number 1 hits now than the Beatles. I think. Like he's fucking
Really?
like.
Oh, dude, he is.
Sometimes
like,
he has
number one
albums where,
streaming
like, 8
artist of the
tracks come
decade,
out as
number
number
one
ones.
streaming artist of the millennium, number one.
Yeah.
Like he is fucking
He's on fire.
enormous, and he
I
is
have no
losing his mind.
I have no idea about his music at all. Like
You think that might
put
be
a
it,
Drake
too?
tune on right now, I wouldn't know.
Oh no, I
He
know
also
is.
grew up kind of privileged and has been battling to try to get some sort of street cred for like his whole
Yeah.
career.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's been.
We've
you know, and
talked
then-
about this multiple times in the
He's
last
soft. Yeah.
couple of
he's viewed
weeks,
as
right, where
soft,
the-
like a softie.
where these guys they end up in these positions and they pine for the credibility, right? Like I would just settle into the money.
A few years
Yeah.
ago, he shaved
Shut
his
your
beard.
mouth and take your check.
He
Yeah.
shaved his beard a few years ago, and like universally, all the women that were on Instagram were like, "Can you put your beard back on? Because you look like you're 6." Seriously,
Aren't you that guy from Degrassi?
Yeah.
And you know, I don't have the.
thought he was
pictures
in a
of it
wheelchair.
because, yeah, unfortunately, he's not. But he
They had to-
over Christmas. I know. I wish he was. Because I remember seeing that picture of Drake on Degrassi. Someone sent it to me years ago, and they're like, "Oh, this is Drake in a wheelchair." I'm like, "Yes," and they're like, "Oh, that's him acting. It's not real." I'm like, "Oh." But
all the racists were complaining because they made wheels black.
yeah. But no, they had they all have the same MO. Like a guy like Drake watching, and I know he's fucked. Like I know his brain is fried. I know he's having a hard time. I know he's going through it. This is one of those things that it's like it just adds like fucking insult to injury, but I can't see how. I don't know, man. I think Drake's gonna have a tough year, from my understanding of where he's at personally. So I'm looking.
Is
forward
there a substance issue here?
I think it's like the Bieber. It's the same thing we watch Bieber go through, but without the substance. You think maybe that little bit of a mental break can't deal with it.
Access to everything he's ever wanted, and
can't
now
deal
he
with
has
the
absolutely
success.
no direction in his life. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah,
and probably leads a very lonely
it,
existence outside of his entourage when he's in public. He's probably at home alone.
Yeah, it's the same thing. We all have these these major moments in our lives, right? Like being in a concert where a bunch of kids died and you being on stage and you being like, he is in about 4 different lawsuits right now for hundreds of millions of dollars because of that Astro World thing.
Good.
And he is not well mentally.
So he was throwing the cash away for tax purposes.
Maybe.
You know?
I don't got any.
Here's the other thing too. I mean, and I listen, I don't know this guy. I'm completely pulling this out of my ass, but I think there might be one of these situations with him where he is realizing that he's not a very likable guy, right? And you know, you talk about him being at home alone, and maybe even the entourage doesn't want to hang out with him, and that might be a little hard to chew on if you're, you know, on the on some, you know, having some mental issues. No, and you realize you're a piece of shit.
He was in the islands all through Christmas with his buddies, posting pictures of his mansion, his workouts, his abdomen, his chest, his legs, his back, him getting out of the water. So everybody back he is such a big proponent of everything Canadian, right? Like he's not. And he's such a stand-up guy that while we're all battling this fucking pandemic, he's down there sending us pictures of his navel and his six-pack, telling us how hard he's been working on his body over the past 2 months. And then sending a picture of his fucking gym and his it's just he's superhuman shit is what he is.
I have a theory that COVID has like really eroded celebrity culture. Like the Oscars, I know they said it was because of COVID, but the Oscars last year had like the worst ratings ever. The year before that, same thing. I think that they all locked us inside, and we started to I think I might have said this yesterday, but we all started to like the movies and the music, but we stopped liking the artist and the celebrity. I think that celebrities aren't getting their dopamine shot anymore. Right? Yeah. Like, I don't think a guy like Drake gets the dopamine shot from 200,000 likes on Instagram. I think he gets it from performing and from getting live people in front of him to faint or whatever the fuck. Right. And he's not getting that. And I wonder if that's when his withdrawal, his fame withdrawal is taking place and we're watching it. You know,
you know what? That's smart, James. You're right. I bet you're onto something with that.
Probably. Because I want dopamine shots every day and I'm not famous, you know?
Yeah. You noticed
take Adderall.
The beginning of the pandemic, and they were doing we're all in this together, taking those videos from their multi-million-dollar mansions.
Remember how gross that was?
And it was they thought they were doing a nice thing, and that's literally how their brain worked.
Tone deaf.
So fucking tone. So somebody's got no job. Yeah, we're in the same storm, but we're definitely not in the same fucking boat.
Ellen DeGeneres, talking about how much she's suffering in her 30,000 square foot compound.
Right? Yeah.
That's why, and I've said this out loud before, and none of us, I think, need to worry about this. But if you ever reach a certain level of fame, you need people around you that are honest with you. And I think that's part of the reason why I don't want to bring this back or re-earth this from the earlier part of our conversation. But the Joe Rogan stuff, the thing that bothers me the most now is that ever since this $100 million deal, he's being treated differently. And I've been hearing it over the guests across from him are scared of him. They're not
balls.
being on. It's ball licking session for fucking 3 hours. And it's kind of annoying, right? Like, you need to, famous people, if you ever get a lot of money, man, keep the fucking people that are honest with you close to you, because you're going to need that. At some point in your life, you're going to need somebody to tell you, really, people didn't have the balls to pull Gal Gadot aside and go, this doesn't feel right. And I heard people in Hollywood on podcasts talking about getting offered an opportunity to sing a bar from that song and hearing what this was, and they backed out of it. So there was a conversation before this thing was even released from people that were being approached from agents and whatnot to be involved in this fucking thing. And they saw it. They were like, ugh, This doesn't feel good. So it wasn't like it was shocking that this thing somebody didn't have the fucking balls to pull gal and go, you know what? We approached so-and-so and they said this might not be a good idea. Have you thought about that? No, they didn't do that. They let her fucking do it, and then it backfired and bit her in the ass.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, the tone deafness of celebrities during the pandemic it's been glorious to watch. It really has. Like there was that other thing that came out. It was the Imagine thing, and there was something else. I don't remember. Ryan, do you remember? It was like a video, and they were all sort of saying the same catchphrase or something.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I think it was like we're all in this together sort of thing. And that's what
like,
it was so based around that.
Do you remember what we're talking about?
Not really.
You here?
No, I remember it. No, I totally am. I remember you're talking about the mashup with people doing Imagine all the people, and then you see Gal Gadot standing there, and behind her she's got a swimming pool, a gym.
Yeah,
she's in like a 24,000 square foot house. She's got like a dirt bike track in the backyard. She's got butlers and maids rubbing her back, and she's got someone doing her hair. It's like, oh yeah, thanks, that's great. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah. I saw it in the homeless shelter. Thanks a lot, Gal.
It really brought our spirits up while we were all at the food line waiting for.
I saw it on the TV.
Dinner.
I saw it in the TV in the window of the bay as I was scrounging for food. Gal, you look great. Yeah. Anyway, I found a half a donut in the garbage. It was delicious.
It was a good day that day. It was a really good day.
It was a honey dip.
Yeah.
Or a cooler. I couldn't tell. There was coffee grounds on it.
I hope there were coffee grounds.
Anyway, I feel like we did some good work today, boys.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I do remember that, to be honest.
Yeah. There was another one, though, and it was just as bad, if not worse.
I'm trying to think of what the fuck you're talking about, James, but I know you're onto something, but I can't remember.
Madonna was in it, I think, wasn't she? She was in it. Oh, no, Madonna was in a bathtub.
It wasn't a singing thing.
No, it wasn't. It was a talking thing, and we all had a part to play in the talking thing. And it was like, what are you guys doing? Why are you doing this? Like, can I get a PR person for once to fix something instead of making it worse?
Yeah, because all those people on ventilators in the hospital were like, pass me my phone. I really want to see that inspiring Gal Gadot. You'll get through this video. While she's having a fucking swim in her $1 million bikini. Yeah. That'll make me feel better.
And I got COVID by working 6 days a week at a factory because I'm not allowed sick days.
Yeah, so tone deaf is a good word. I think that I like what you guys have done here. That's nice.
Yeah, very brutal. Yeah, the Madonna one was her in a bathtub, and she had like champagne. Yeah, and you could tell everything was marble, and she's like, "We're all in this together, guys." Something like that.
Something like that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. So
Cher was doing like a podcast from her bathroom because there's a couch in her bathroom. Like it's like why is there a couch in your fucking bathroom? Like,
and there was that other one with what's
the worst idea?
Nancy Pelosi. True. Nancy Pelosi was like posting an interview from her home, and her kitchen is like 3,000 square feet. And she pulls out, she's like, sometimes I like to eat ice cream bars. And it's like this, I don't know why she's British all of a sudden, but it's like people researched it and they're like, that's a $25 a bar ice cream bar.
I remember watching a clip of Nancy Pelosi at some press conference where she was basically suggesting that that it was okay for inside trading. And I remember, like, I'm not a trader, or like I don't have any money for the stock market, but I remember it sort of caught my ear. I'm like, did she just say it was okay to tell your friends to invest in a stock you might know about? Isn't that illegal?
Oh, dude,
she just did it on CNN.
Anytime
she looks like Skeletor in drag. So that didn't help.
Someone has as much as a lot of those people have, and they come up to you and go, specifically in the pandemic. Like I have some friends that are fairly well heeled, and they're not like this. But we've talked about some mutual friends that are, and it's like and they just got one mutual friend we have just got back from Florida on his own plane. And and I'm like, how is so and so? And this mutual friend's like, he's really down about the pandemic.
Look at that.
And I'm like, really? It's like,
really
yeah. He was like, stuck down at his mansion on the Gulf Coast, golfing every day for and he couldn't come home to Canada because he got 2 different vaccines, and it's just been a nightmare.
Oh, and he hasn't seen his wife in 6 months. Poor baby.
Nightmare. I'd love that nightmare. That'd be a fucking.
He had to bang the maid. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
No. And then he had to put
Honey,
hot
they
sauce
just
in the
extended it
condom.
again. I have to stay.
Yeah.
She smelled like Tide Pods.
Anyway, that's it for me. I feel like dog balls, so I'm going to take off. But guys, thanks for doing this. What's that?
Yeah.
I said you feel like cat shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not great. Yeah, do you like my cat? My cat
shit.
All cats poop
calendar.
Look at that.
Yeah,
It's brilliant.
Calendar, boys. So Lindsay gave this to me. Lindley.
Lindley.
I call him Linz. Pooping Cats calendar 2022. This was a nice little.
I love the epic sky in the background. That's amazing.
Oh yeah, and a pretty decent dump on that thing, right? Like that's a good starter because that's like a good 3-4 inches of shit.
It's a good cable.
But you know what's interesting is every month, different cat, different dump.
That's a good gift.
That's a little hot-footed shit right there. She left that cat left a really nice little loaf.
Can I just remind you, Dean, that before the podcast started, you said we weren't allowed to talk about dirty pussies.
Okay.
You mentioned that.
These ones are good though. February's is a fucking cable.
Yep.
And look at the face on the cat.
The hair standing up.
That is sheer joy.
That's for the photographer.
That is sheer joy.
That
is sheer joy.
Honey, I got an idea. I'm gonna make a calendar.
March. This little tabby cat. This little tabby cat is like.
They got dogs too.
Ooh, this is a good shit. Look at that. Ooh,
the face on that thing.
Look at the face. Look at the relief.
Yeah, but it's a ginger, so you can't trust that cat.
It's a tabby cat, Dad.
Oh, gingers are evil.
This one. Listen, April is really interesting. April. You can see the cornhole on that cat, like a perfect system right there.
Yeah.
Look at that thing. Very domestic. Reading the cat news.
It looks like Randy Hilliard.
Cats read when they take a shit too.
Randy Hilliard.
This is disappointing. You know, this is that cat. Locke, you were explaining your dump yesterday, how you didn't get very much. This is the Lachlan cat. You know, the cat that like thinks it's going to go real well, and they just get a little bit of a nugget, and it's like, fuck, I thought that was going to be more rewarding.
We had about a 30-minute conversation the other day, Dean and I, about shitting, and I don't know if I'm alone on this, but
30 minutes.
I said to Dean,
I said 30 minutes. You make shit up all the time.
My
like
biggest
2-minute conversation.
My biggest concern right now,
right?
I am really struggling with this. I'm really struggling with this. There are days like what day is it? It's Thursday.
Are we really going to talk about this today before we
I had a shit in the morning that was the size of my fucking arm. Okay. Right. Then I went home.
Yes.
Right before dinner, I get another call. And I run to the bathroom. I had another shit the size of my arm, like 2 massive shits. And I'm like, I did that today. I didn't do that yesterday or the day before. Should I be like, I'm concerned. Some days there is a lot and then there's not. Like this morning I had a dump at work. Not very satisfying.
Lachlan, all that means is that you did it one day because the rest of the time you're full of shit, right?
Do other people have the same concern? No. I am concerned. I think I should be shitting like that every day, and I'm not, and I'm wondering where it's going.
No,
is it staying in there?
Do you take any sort of fiber, like any sort of like Metamucils or anything like during the day, like or in the morning?
I do a little meta. I'll do a little meta. Yeah.
Yeah. Like every day?
Yeah.
Because it should be pretty consistent then.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
No,
Lindley,
listen.
Honestly, this is a concern of mine.
No, you got to stop. It's all according to your diet. Whatever
that
you
too,
ate the day before, how much water you drank, all that stuff. But I will say this: those are those are like bonus days for me, where you're like, you void, and then you're like, wow, that was really impressive.
You tweet
and then, like,
about
2
it.
hours later, you're like, yes. And I was thinking about this. You know how those guys, I was thinking, the anti-vaxxers are like, my dad has skin cancer and no coincidence, he got vaccinated 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It's probably the vaccine. if they can do that, I can too. Since I have been vaccinated, I have had the best dumps of my life. So it's the vaccine.
Really?
Yeah.
It's definitely the vaccine.
It's the vaccine.
The urine people, do you think we can convince them to smear shit on their open wounds?
Oh, for sure. They're dumb. We just went over this. It was the whole show. We just
I don't think Lachlan has to take a shit.
I think he has to go poo. I think all this poo talk.
Anyway.
You had to go.
All right, guys.
That's it for us. That
Good
is
work until
James
the end.
Fiore. Thanks, buddy. Good to see you. That is
Really
James
put that one in
Fiore,
the
Blackball
shitter.
the Podcast. That is Ryan Lindley, Sheeple Shepherd Podcast. We'll see you guys soon.
Take care, buddy. Feel better.
All right, man. I will. That's it for us. And that's it for Prince Andrew.
I have no recollection of ever meeting. A slight problem with the sweating because I have a peculiar medical condition, which is that I don't sweat, or I didn't sweat at the time.
You guys fuck. Have a great day. Thanks for being part of the show. You can see everything we do at DeanBlundell.com. We really appreciate it. You can follow us on YouTube as well. Subscribe, Dean Blundell Show on YouTube or Dean Blundell TV on Twitch. That's where you can see these podcasts and shows in real time, or you can get it on Google, Apple, Spotify, etc. And thanks to our friends over at Easy Auto Financial for making this possible. Easy Auto Financial helping you get into a vehicle and you don't have to pay for your financing. And they take all credit. They don't care. They just want to make sure you get into a vehicle and get you the best deal. It doesn't cost you a dime. No obligation. EasyAutoFinancial.ca. Also, our friends over at Ed's Fine Imports, his Gitch. They're the best. Luxury branded underwear, boxer briefs. Order. He'll send you boxer briefs to your house, plus a free pair when you use promo code GITCH3. Best underwear you'll ever buy, fellas. Boxer briefs, pouch in the front, super soft, great waistband. Like great waistband. You know, the kind that don't frill or stretch or anything. They're awesome. Only underwear you'll ever buy again. Gitch from edsfineimports.com. And hit the like button on your way out. That's what Ray said from Talking Football with Ray. That's one of our podcasts. Smash that subscribe button. Anyway. And last but not least, domination. People that do software for people that like to create promos. Super easy. It's AI. Free to try, free to use. Once. You get credit. Super cheap to use, too. And it makes like your life a million times easier. If you peruse promos, go to dmntn.com. Anything gaming, streaming, whatnot. Try them for free today. That's it. It's good music. It's like pan flute or something. Who doesn't love Zamfir? Anyway, that's it for us. Have a great day. See you tomorrow. Bye.